Derek O'Brien, the Trinamool Congress's leader in the Rajya Sabha. Welcome back to television, Derek O'Brien. You've just come out from a surgery. Good to see you looking well. But I hope you're not feeling ashamed today that you won't be allowed to use words like incompetent. And I hope you don't feel betrayed by what is happening perhaps in Parliament. Give us a sense of why are you calling this a gag order? The Speaker says nothing is banned. You're much ado about nothing.
Much ado about nothing. It's a much bigger issue. And I think it's good this issue came up and we took it up in the morning first. The Trinamool and then all the opposition parties have taken this issue up. This is about undermining Parliament. They're talking about Sangsadiya Maryada, Parliament. Let me just give you 5 little examples which are much bigger than only gagging words which have happened in the last 7-8 years, where the Parliament as an institution has been undermined. Number 1, the Prime Minister has not answered a single question on the floor of the Rajya Sabha in the last 7 years. 2, in the last monsoon session, bills have been passed. This is numbers. Dispute these numbers. Bills have been passed, 27 bills at an average of 9 minutes a bill. 3, all of you saw what happened during the farmer bill. MPs like me and other opposition MPs, as per the rules, we can move for a vote. We were deprived of the vote. Then after that you say we went and broke the microphones. Number 4, there are so many other examples I can give you. Parliament scrutiny of bills. It was 7 out of 10 bills at one time. It is now down to 1 out of 10 bills. These are the real numbers, and this is how Parliament is being
Mr. O'Brien, you were jumping up and down over what you said were words that you could not use in Parliament. The Speaker says no words have been banned. The Speaker, or at least the government, is saying instead you should have better behavior. The fact is the Trinamool Congress, including yourself, you were banned. Allegedly, you were trying to snatch the mic. Others have been accused of attacking the marshals. They were also banned for a session. Should we be focusing on bad behavior of MPs before we look at these words which are troubling you so much?
Good. I do not want to get into a spat with the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha or the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha, except, since you're talking about bad behavior, what do you want the opposition to do during the farmer bills? When I, as a member of Parliament, ask for a division, and the division is not allowed. Wait. The chairman of the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, was not on the chair. He was not there. Number 2, the vice chairman of the Rajya Sabha was not there. There was an acting presiding officer there from the Biju Janata Dal who was sitting there. You tell me the DMK, the CPM and the Trinamool, we are the 3, and the Congress also had our bills, our votes. You don't look at us. This is not something of us putting up a hand. No. This is you have to give in writing 24 hours in advance. If you don't allow the vote, what do you want us to do? Sit there and have lollipop? No. We have to get aggressive.
No, but why are you jumping up and down over these words?
Why did the Speaker have to come and I will tell you, you cannot float these ideas. Please, there's a much more bigger, there's a serious issue here. Parliament is being made impotent. Parliament is being made undermined. I have given you 6-7 examples. The words is another example. Let's take a real example. During the budget session of Parliament, what did the opposition want? The opposition wanted discussion on price rise. The whole session finished. There was no discussion on price rise. Why? It was awkward. And it's really sickening to see that at the all-party meeting, which will happen in a few days, one day before, that's become a ritual. It's become a sham. Prime Minister will come there for 3 minutes and 30 seconds and say, first will happen click, click, click. And then they'll say, we want to discuss any issue, no problem, we are open to a discussion. When the notices are given, no discussion is held. This is unacceptable, and I think the difference you will see in this coming budget session, the opposition will get more aggressive. You mute my microphone, what will I do? You don't allow me a vote, what will I do? I have to go into the well. No less a person than Mr. Arun Jaitley said, going into the well and stalling parliament is a legitimate parliamentary tactic. So please don't make the opposition into villains. The villain is the Prime Minister who will not answer a question for 7 years. The villain,
so you will continue to use
those
you will continue to use words like Jumla Jivi.
This is not rhetoric.
You will continue to use these words.
Of course. And we can use, it's not only, please understand, you have made words which are, what are those words? You don't want me to use the word corrupt. You don't want me to use the word something else. You haven't accepted a 267 notice for a special discussion from the entire time this presiding officer has been in Rajya Sabha. I'd never want to say anything about presiding officers, but India needs to understand, the youth of India needs to understand, Parliament is not a building, old building or new building. The soul of Parliament is that the opposition has to have its say. The government have the numbers, they can have their way.
Okay, but do you take the speaker now at face value when he says, look, I am not banning any words, but the context in which those words are used will be important. If you use abusive words, if you use personalized language, those words will be expunged.
Listen, why do you think opposition MPs will use abusive words? Why?
Because you've used derogatory words about the Prime Minister outside Parliament as well. You've used derogatory words. Let's be very clear. You've been very scathing about the Prime Minister outside Parliament.
Let us not get into derogatory words about the Prime Minister outside Parliament, because I don't want to remind the catcall made on India's only woman chief minister when he comes here to Bengal before the elections and makes a catcall, which said that's a catcall. When you say Didi, that's a misogynistic, unacceptable catcall. So let's not get into that debate. I want to talk to you today. That can be another debate, and we'll flatten them there. I want to talk to you about basically the issue that the BJP, when it comes to parliamentary committees, when it comes to ordinances, Mr. Sardesai, here's another statistic. For the last 30, 40 years, for every 10 bills passed in Parliament, as we learned in our civic books, what are ordinances? That's emergency legislation. The number of ordinances earlier was 2 out of 10. For every 10 bills passed, 2 was an ordinance. Now, 4.2. For every 10 bills passed, 4.2 is an ordinance. What does that mean? That means you are bulldozing Parliament. That's the biggest problem here today.
Okay.
And I'm very happy that this issue has come up 3-4 days before Parliament. I hope Parliament remains an issue right through the 12th of August. But the BJP must know, you give it to us and try and undermine Parliament, we'll sock it back to you. We will go into the well.
Okay.
We will go into the well.
Okay,
how do you mute microphones?
Okay.
You mute microphones.
Let me leave it there. I'm going to mute
TV off. You switch Lok Sabha TV off. You want us to sit there and have lollipops?
Okay, I'm going to mute you there. Be careful about words like bulldozer. Okay. They will get you into trouble. Please don't use words like bulldozer so easily. Don't bulldoze anyone, Derek O'Brien. Be careful. I'm the speaker.
No, I can say bulldozer. No, I can use it very nicely. Mr. Sardesai. Mr. Sardesai. I can use the word bulldozer. When the BJP came to Bengal, we bulldozed them and kept them to 70 seats. So they got bulldozed, Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. We put them under the bulldozer.